Since education affects all of us, we wanted to take some time today to really dig into the issues with two guests with very different views. We'll speak with the head of one of the largest teachers union, or the largest teacher union, in a moment. But joining me right now is William Hansen, who was Deputy Secretary of Education under President George W. Bush. William, nice to have you with us. Thanks for being with us. Betsy DeVos has made a name for herself in Michigan, right, in education, in that space. In 2013, she told Philanthropy magazine, and I want to quote, she said, traditional public schools are not succeeding. In fact, let's be clear, in many cases they are failing. That's helped people become more open to what were once considered radical reforms like vouchers, tax credits, and education savings accounts. So for all the parents watching out there, and you've been through this before, will she bring about radical change, do you think?
I think Betsy will bring about important change to American education. And you know, we are 19th in the international test scores with the 35 industrial countries when it comes to our science scores, 20th in reading and 31st in math out of 35. And the PISA international test actually takes into account poverty and other conditions. So we really do have an important time in our American education system for really ripe for reform, and Betsy has a great history and track record to bring that reform to Washington.
She is a champion of charter schools, and I want to throw a couple other numbers out there. Researchers at Stanford looked at charters versus public schools. They found only a quarter of students at charter schools did better than students at traditional public schools when it comes to reading, and about 29% of charter school students did better when it comes to math. Where's the evidence, do you think, that charter schools, create significant change and really help kids?
Well, I think the important thing is they are performing better, and I think the schools in Michigan, if you look at the results, are students are 3 months ahead in their reading scores in third grade. But it's also about choice for parents and to have different options to send their children to the type of school that they would like to send their student to. And so it's very important. And, you know, Betsy has taken a lot of heat for her commitment, and she has really spent her time, her talent, her resources to help low-income and minority students in particular have the same choices that middle and upper-income families have by the nature of their zip code or where they live. And so I really think she should be commended for dedicating her life and her resources to helping low and middle income students achieve.
As you know, a lot of teachers unions and some parents have concerns, though, if people have choices, they move away from public schools. Some do, and that leaves the kids who are still left at the public schools struggling in schools that aren't as good. What about that?
Well, you know, I think we need to also keep in mind that in the higher education system for our country, the Pell Grant program is the largest voucher scholarship program in government's $40 billion, helping almost 10 million low-income students in higher education go to yeshiva or Notre Dame or Southern Methodist or Brigham Young University or a state school or a proprietary school. And these are important attributes that would really, I think, help our K-12 system out if we were able to bring the same reforms and the same choices and opportunities, which have really spurred a lot of reform in our higher education system over the last 40 years since the Pell Grant program was created.
Can we talk about teachers for a second? I was reading that a 2010 McKinsey report found that 47% of U.S. teachers come from the bottom third of their college graduating class. In Finland, teachers come from the top 10%. And I'm not dissing teachers. I love my kids' public school teachers. But the question is, how do we attract the best and the brightest, the best of the best to be our public school teachers? Is there a way to change the way we value teachers in this country?
Yeah, absolutely, Kate. Great question. You know, and I think we need to modernize our school system and everything about it, and I think that's what Betsy will bring to the job. You know, I have a daughter that's a special ed teacher. My father, grandparents were public school teachers, and Betsy's mother was a public school teacher. We need to look for ways to support and teachers, but a lot of this really should be done at the state and local level where we can put incentives in and also look for alternative mechanisms to bring teachers into the classroom from businesses, from the military, and to really also help us in the STEM fields where we really have some major teacher shortages that we need to really try to go after and arrest. And I think this is the type of thing that Betsy is going to be very much of an advocate for.
And just lastly, yes or no, do you think the committee will give her a hard time today and it'll be a difficult confirmation, or does she sail through?
She's in good hands with Chairman Alexander, but I think she's going to have an interesting hearing, and it's going to be a fun couple of hours to watch. But she is a gracious, wonderful, brilliant lady who's passionate about our students and really puts our students above our systems in this country, and that's really what's most important, is to be an advocate for our students.
William Hansen is former Deputy Secretary of Education under President George W. Bush. Thanks so much for being with us.
Thank you, Kate.
Let me get a different perspective now from Randy Weingarten. She's president of the American Federation of Teachers, the largest union, correct? The teachers union in the country. Second largest. Okay. I'm trying to give you an elevation there.
Thank you, Kate.
Nice to see you. I want to get your reaction to